Well, the NFL draft is just a month away, which means it's time for us to start taking a closer look at why some of our locals are worth a selection in this year's draft. And helping us break down the tape, as always, our former Steelers linebacker, Utah Ute, Stevenson Sylvester is in the house. And we're going to start off with a guy that's been soaring up the draft boards this offseason. We're starting with Utah tight end Dalton Kincaid. This is a guy who's just phenomenal, and when you look at his size coming into the NFL draft, he clearly is a guy that fits the mold of an NFL tight end.
No question. He is spectacular. Fits the ball all the way around. I mean, I'm surprised at how tall he is, and after talking to him, I've interviewed him a few times this year. He's a basketball player as well, which explains all of his athletic ability, all the amazing things you guys have seen this season, and why all the NFL teams are raving about him.
Yeah, so he's 6'4", 244. The average NFL tight end is about that size, 6'4", 250. So he definitely is got the NFL size.
Yeah, no question. And it is exactly what goes right into our breakdown, right? He is a matchup nightmare for DBs, linebackers, cornerbacks. He is a matchup nightmare no matter where you put him on the football field. And what's great about him is you can put him anywhere. He can line up in the wide tight end position, which is the traditional tight end position, hand in the dirt, right on the end of the line of scrimmage, or you can flex him out, which people call F. A lot of different people call him U, F, Y, or however you want to call him. It depends on the system, but they're all universally the same thing. It's the guy that moves around. He's your fullback. He's your blocker. He's a lead blocker on screens. But in our case, in Utah, he even catches those screens.
Yeah, and so when you look at the draft boards, tight end is kind of a deeper position coming into this year's draft. What sets Dalton Kincaid apart from these other guys going into the draft this year?
Well, the tight end position is becoming more and more popular no matter where you're at. But Dalton Kincaid is just extremely intelligent, and he's so unique is because it doesn't matter what you do with him, whether you put him press man, you double cover him, or you run zone against him, he's able to beat you. On that first play, he had tons of yak yards after. But this is great, too. You do a simple 3-yard out, and he's getting 10, 11 yards after the catch. That is huge. And even here, as we said, you flex him out, and these are normally receiver plays. He can do those. And imagine a bigger guy doing receiver-type plays. It's a matchup nightmare for everybody. And then, of course, the hands. Dalton Kincaid has the most amazing hands in this draft. He said it himself, and you put on the tape of all the other guys, and that is exactly what you see time and time again. Dalton Kincaid is definitely the best tight end in this draft.
Okay, so these types of tight ends are super valuable in the NFL these days. And why is that? There's a lot of guys that are similar to him in the league already. Who do you think he reminds you of the most in the NFL right now?
Man, there's tons, because tight ends are the new trend, right? Everybody's understanding that position nightmares because you don't know what personnel. Defense always is reacting to what the offense does. So if the offense has so many big personnel as far as like tight ends, then they think you're going to run the ball. But if you got flex guys like Dalton Kincaid and you can pass the ball out of it and doing the fancy pass plays that everybody's doing, it's a matchup nightmare for defenses. And so what he reminds me of is a guy that a lot of young guys don't remember, but Tony Gonzalez.
Oh, nice.
Right?
Okay,
Tony Gonzalez for the Kansas City Chiefs back in the day was amazing, and nobody could really get their arms on him because they didn't know how to do it. You can't put a linebacker on him because they were too slow. You couldn't put a DB on him because they were too small. And so he would flex out in tight end, catch the ball, and really changed the tide for the tight end position.
Yeah, he really did. He broke the mold of that tight end position. Tony Gonzalez did. So who wants the next Tony Gonzalez in this draft? Or Dalton Kincaid, where do you think he fits best? Which team out there is a good marriage with Dalton Kincaid?
That is a great question, because I think teams are going to explode as soon as the draft opens on the first day. I think Dalton Kincaid's going high in the first round simply because you see all these teams making moves. They're trading guys away or not re-signing some of their pass catchers. You got the Bengals, you got the Dolphins, you got the Raiders who traded away Waller, Pro Bowl guys. But you got guys like Dalton Kincaid, Michael Mayer, all these guys in the draft that are coming. So I think teams are making room for this guy. The Bears are high on Dalton Kincaid. So, I mean, I have no idea which team is going to make a move, because I think somebody's going to trade up to make sure they don't miss him. Because you see Mark Andrews for the Ravens. They're extremely valuable. And so I think that he's going to end up going to the Raiders early in the draft.
So is he a top 10 pick then?
Yes, I believe he's a top 10 pick.
There you go. Raiders in the top 10 spot. That's not a bad spot to be, and he's not too far from Salt Lake City. Go see Dalton Kincaid in the silver and black. Sly, awesome. Thanks so much. We're going to have a lot more of these coming your way as we get closer and closer to the NFL draft.